Tower Defense Simulator was created on the 5th of June 2019, but it was actually released to the public on the 14th of June. This tower defense game was intended to be a minor school project Below Natural had to create, but ever since then the game started to gain attraction to it, making Below decide to keep it as an official game. In the beginning, compared to recently, the game wasn't the most quality experience you'd find at the time, but the gameplay itself was entertaining enough to let the quality slide. Back then, the game was really enjoyable and fun to the point many people would play for hours. Later on, Below started hiring more people like Wikiakulas, Fox, and John Roblox to help make the game feel better. Not only did some of the most favorited events such as SFOTH and Area 51 happen at this time, but big creators started making videos and gameplays of this game as well. It was an enjoyable experience for everyone and was undoubtedly the best era of Tower Defense Simulator. Looks like it's 2020. The game has started to gain millions of visits and so many people enjoy it. There's even YouTubers on this game.
Now, I've only been playing Roblox for about 2 months now, and out of the millions and billions and trillions of games on Roblox, TDS is by far my favorite.
Many great and memorable events have come and gone. The classic winter event featuring Krampus, the incredible Easter event premiering Ducky Doom. Keep that guy in mind. Not to mention the unique towers that came and are soon to come. At the time, players were anxious for towers like Engineer, Hacker, and even a collaboration with Usnell and TDS. Although there was many enjoyable moments of this period of TDS, there were a few signs of the downfall for this game. We've sadly lost a great tower at this time.
Sentries.
Not only that, but the new tower for the smaller equals bigger update Pursuit had mixed emotions about its usefulness. Many skins at the time were lazy recallers of the torso and or legs. This is known as the pre-hardcore period, the time before TDS took a turn for the worst. This is it. The game of Tower Defense Simulator has already reached its peak. After only being up for a little over a year, usually games take longer to fade into irrelevancy on the Roblox platform, but this just wasn't the case. Except it wasn't simply the game getting old or being overtaken by a knockoff. It was simply a huge mistake the developers have done and weren't able to come back from. Hardcore. Hardcore is a gamma mode that is supposed to be a long-awaited challenge for experts of the game. It features a whole list of new enemies, a few new maps, 10 more waves than the average Fallen mode, and 2 bosses. Although the mode wasn't the problem, it was the update itself. This update was known as the downfall and death of what was known of Tower Defense Simulator. Starting off with the 2-hour delay, the start of many delays. Then Outlaw and Enforcer were both reworked and completely changed into Ranger and Shotgunner, followed by the complete death of the John Tower, now Militant, Ace Pilot shooting being ruined, duplicate skins, Golden mode being removed, and Platinum skins being killed. All of this will lead to the death of TDS. And after all of that, I haven't even mentioned the update right after Halloween 2020. Now, after the huge mistake the hardcore update caused, you're forced to sit for 6 months waiting for a new update while the game isn't even fun or interesting anymore. The game became a complete bore and caused everyone, even YouTubers, to try out other games. Even with that, they delay a Winterfest event for months.
The future of TDS currently is that the game is probably just gonna slowly fall out of popularity.
Well, what now? What's happening now? A new gamma mode, an apology, an out-of-season event that stays up for even longer than the Halloween event? If you pick the third option, sadly you're correct. The Frost event was supposed to be the Christmas event after the Halloween one. Even though it started in the middle of summer, the complete opposite of winter. If you thought that Halloween 2020 was boring, well, you haven't seen anything yet. This event stayed for about 7 months this time and was even more boring. This event was beatable in a day or two and the battle pass take about a month maximum. But turns out, unlike Halloween's Rain, Frost event was way different. Instead of sitting there and trying to force yourself to do stuff, there was finally other options. During this time a type of tower defense revolution started. Many other developers started to either make really high quality tower defense games or went through their own overhaul phase. Games like Tower Blitz, Arena Tower Defense, Retro Tower Defense, even Tower Defense Simulator roleplay started to rise up due to the absence of content in TDS. Everyone started leaving TDS for other games and they started gaining thousands of concurrent players. TDS seemed to notice this and decided that if they pushed out a truckload of leaks for an upcoming event or update, that it will keep people on the edge of their seats. But then it became December and little to no updates at all other than removing a tower for a day. But that was until Solar Eclipse event came in, and that's where TDS started to change. It's now time for the Solar Eclipse event, where TDS is desperately trying to change and give the people what they want. Except they didn't really get the hint since they delayed the event 4 times and then made people wait over a week for the full thing. But they've also been trying to keep the event from going too long. They even timed themselves by giving out a specific time for the event to end. That was unexpected for TDS. But you already know the community is never grateful. They say that the event wasn't worth the wait and delays. Remember the 79 leaks I mentioned earlier? Well, out of all those leaks only 9 of them made into the event. This was outrageous, and for the month and a half this event was up, people weren't too fond of it. Because not only was this event practically not worth the wait, but it was the event that debuted the first ever female boss, Umbra, making people go ballistic since of course it wouldn't be the TDS community without some sexism. This was a good attempt at bringing back TDS old glory, but the devs seem to not know the actual problem here.
However, gameplay-wise, TDS hasn't improved once.
Now that the Solar Eclipse event is gone, there is actually just a period of no event at all. Just a normal game. But I don't think I mentioned this, but ever since the hardcore update the game was the most buggy experience known to man. There were so many bugs. Some of them weren't as bad, but others were actually ruining towers as a total. Not to mention the towers were unbalanced and even the modes were unbalanced. People have known for almost a year that Molten mode was easier than normal mode due to an unbalance, but nothing ever happened, as mentioned in Egripted's video on TDS's downfall. But at this point everyone knew about it and were already used to it. Except the Entity update came and changed most of what we knew as TDS. The Entity update was like a huge attempt to trying and win people back after all that has happened. It fixed almost if not all of the bugs and glitches that were known at the time. Now that all these bugs are gone, the game will be way smoother and great. Except this did not save TDS in the slightest. They might have fixed the quality of the gameplay, but they needed to fix the gameplay itself. I'll get into the quality over gameplay topic more after this timeline, but this update was a great attempt, but missed the real problem of the game. Now it's the Duck event, which actually had a mix of love and disappointment when it first released. When it first came out there actually weren't much delays, but many people were mixed with what they thought of it. Also, the Bloxy News on Twitter made a controversial tweet and had to remove it. That was fun. But the event was basically a whole waste of time. This event was a new type of gameplay where there isn't a path and all the enemies come from all sides, making it hard to defend the base. And it consists of an enemy which doesn't even walk to the base but just stuns all your towers and walks around. And it includes a final boss which does the same thing except taking out 100 HP every once in a while. You can also buy plots and get more health, plus there is another money bonus. Let's just say it's a special event. And after all that, you'd expect a tower as a reward, right? Wrong. You only get bread so that you can obtain skins. And strategists say you need at least 18 wins to get every skin. After all that, you get absolutely nothing important. But there was a tower that released due to the update. The Engineer. Remember the Engineer and Hacker towers back in the peak era? After 2 years the Engineer finally comes out. But the Hacker still is kept behind bars. So now not only the Battle Pass skins become a problem, but TDS's insane delays are as well. But that's not where it ends. The Engineer is only obtainable through gems like the Accelerator. Except the Engineer costs 80% more gems than the Accelerator, and Hardcore, as you know, is insanely unbalanced. But midway through the event they nerfed Hardcore badly, making it more possible. Don't get me wrong, the Duck event was great, but you know it had many flaws. Now we've reached today. TDS is one of the most quality games on the platform and the most popular one, reaching thousands of concurrent viewers at all times. But the game isn't enjoyable at all. Be honest, you can't play TDS for more than 2 games without getting bored at all. TDS makes an honest effort on fixing their game, and they did make it better in many ways. But they still miss the actual problem of this. The game is focusing on quality over gameplay when it should be the other way around. The game is already quality enough, but the game needs to actually be enjoyable to play. TDS could have RTX on 4K HD graphics and still wouldn't be as enjoyable because of the gameplay, and they fail to realize that. Hardcore seems to be an irreversible curse on the history of this game, but if TDS actually gets their priorities straight, this could be fixed. Now that TDS is falling drastically, you'll expect many other games to rise from the depths and grow out of this. But this is all the result of a poor decision the devs have made that changed the outcome of TDS. Grinding is a problem. Delays are a problem. Balancing is a problem. And now even events aren't out of this. If TDS doesn't grasp on the real problem in the game, it's safe to say that it's totally doomed. As you hopefully know, this is an opinion and you do not have to agree with my points in this video. If you don't agree, you can comment your opinions below, because this place is a safe area and it's fine to speak out to your opinions.